The case of the Yuba County Five is one of the most perplexing and disturbing unsolved mysteries in American history. What began as a seemingly innocent road trip for five friends turned into a nightmare when they disappeared in February 1978. Months later, four of the men were found dead in remote locations, while one was never found at all. In this video, we will cover everything down to the smallest detail about who these men were, the circumstances of their disappearance, the search efforts, the media frenzy, the police investigation, and the many theories that have surfaced in the decades since. Each of the men involved in this tragedy had their own distinct story. Despite their mental health challenges, they were well liked in their community and lived relatively normal lives. They were close friends who bonded over their shared love of sports, particularly basketball. Gary Mathias was a U.S. Army veteran who had been discharged due to a diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia. His struggle with mental health was serious. He had several psychotic episodes in the past, including violent outbursts, and had been hospitalized multiple times. However, by 1978, he was considered stable, living at home with his parents in Yuba City and taking his prescribed medications regularly. Gary had only been friends with the others for about 2 years, having met them at a rehabilitation program. Despite his troubled past, Gary's family believed he was finally on the right track. Bill Sterling was a devout Christian who loved volunteering and was deeply involved in his church. He had a learning disability but was socially active and found fulfillment helping at the local hospital. Bill was known as the most compassionate of the group, often described as the glue that kept everyone together. He was sensitive, caring, and a beloved figure within his community. Jack Madruga was a U.S. Army veteran. Like Gary Mathias, though his discharge was unrelated to mental health issues, Jack had a mild intellectual disability but was able to function independently. He was proud of his 1969 Mercury Montego, which he cherished and protected. His family described him as cautious and practical, making his decision to drive into an unfamiliar wilderness all the more baffling. Ted Wire had a developmental disability but was known for his enthusiastic and outgoing personality. He worked at a landscaping firm, and though his mother claimed he could be influenced easily, his friends described him as dependable. Jack Hewitt was the youngest in the group and the most introverted. His intellectual disability made him highly dependent on his family, particularly his mother. His loyalty to his friends was his defining characteristic, and he seldom did anything without them. On February 24, 1978, the five friends eagerly anticipated a Special Olympics basketball tournament they would play in the next day. That evening, they made a road trip to Chico, California, around 50 miles from their homes in Yuba City, to attend a college basketball game at California State University. At around 10 p.m., after the game, the group stopped at Bears Market to grab some snacks for the drive home. This brief visit was the last confirmed sighting of the Yuba County Five. 4 days later, police found Jack Madruga's car, a turquoise and white 1969 Mercury Montego, on a dirt road near Oroville in the Plumas National Forest. Surprisingly, this was 70 miles in the opposite direction from home. Despite being lightly stuck in snow, the car was functional and only had a quarter tank of gas. Jack, known for his attachment to his car, would never have abandoned it willingly. This detail made the family suspicious. Law enforcement with hundreds of volunteers scoured the Plumas National Forest, combing through treacherous terrain. Helicopters scanned from above, but the vast, rugged area made the search incredibly challenging. Nearly 4 months later, a group of motorcyclists stumbled upon a deserted Forest Service trailer, 19.4 miles from where the car was abandoned. Inside, they found the remains of Ted Weir wrapped in multiple sheets, with evidence suggesting he had survived for several weeks. Oddly, canned food remained largely untouched, and a propane heating system went unused. Why didn't they use these essential supplies? Jack Madruga and Bill Sterling were found 11 miles from the car. It was clear they had died from exposure, their bodies scattered by animals. Shortly after, Jack Hewitt's bones were discovered about 2 miles from the trailer. But one man, Gary Mathias, was never found. His shoes were discovered near the trailer, raising questions about whether he ventured off in a desperate bid to find help. This tragic tale has spurred countless theories. Some believe the men may have encountered foul play. Joseph Shons, a witness, reported strange noises and shouting the night they went missing. Another theory considers Gary Mathias's mental health, suggesting he may have had a psychotic break, leading the group into disarray. Others believe it was simply a wrong turn, leading the group astray in the unforgiving wilderness. Fear, disorientation, and harsh elements may have overtaken them. Newspapers like the Sacramento Bee and the San Francisco Chronicle covered the Yuba County Five extensively, often using offensive and outdated terms when describing the men. As more details emerged, reports became increasingly sensational. At first, many thought the men were lost hikers, but strange details soon led to wild media speculation, boosting the case's infamy. The investigation, led by local police and the FBI, faced numerous challenges. Vast terrain, lack of clear evidence, and the delay in search efforts stirred criticism from the families, who felt authorities had overlooked potential foul play. The FBI joined the case due to Gary's military background, but their involvement revealed no new leads. As time went on, law enforcement faced dead ends, leaving the case steeped in mystery. For the families, the pain of not knowing remains. They criticized initial handling of the case and questioned the pace of search efforts, wondering if more could have been done. Gary Mathias's family, in particular, has struggled with the endless what-ifs, never finding closure and hoping for answers even decades later. Over 40 years have passed, yet the Yuba County 5 case remains an enigma. Despite exhaustive investigations, theories, and media scrutiny, we may never know what truly happened on that cold February night.